What went wrong for Angel Reese? How does someone so promising end up in such a dramatic downward spiral, leading to her termination from the Chicago Sky?
People in sports figures, are you kidding me? A woman that rebounds?
Angel Reese being fired for steroid use. Yes, you heard that right, steroids. But this isn't just a story about breaking the rules. It's about how a rising star became a cautionary tale.
And shows up half naked to games.
Angel Reese came into the season with sky-high expectations. She was supposed to be the savior for the Chicago Sky, a key player to help them return to glory. But from the start, things felt off. Reese, who was known for her dynamic play and fearless attitude, seemed to deliver more drama than dominance on the court.
Angel Reese, which is absolutely ridiculous, and let's talk about how ridiculous it is.
The headlines were less about her rebounds and more about her trash-talking provocative outfits and strange post-game meltdowns. Fans and analysts alike were starting to wonder what was going on with Angel Reese. Then, the bombshell dropped. Angel Reese had been using steroids.
And shows up half naked to games. They're just, anyway, there's so much I want. Just start with the Sports Illustrated.
It all started to make sense. The erratic behavior, the off-court drama. It wasn't just Angel being extra. Something was seriously wrong. Steroids can mess with your mind, and that seemed to be the case for Angel.
Angel Reese, which is absolutely ridiculous, and let's talk about how ridiculous it is.
What's even crazier, she didn't just get fired for the steroids alone. Chicago Sky claimed that her drug use ruined team chemistry, cost them games, and ultimately destroyed their shot at the playoffs.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. I saw that spoon, Teresa Witherspoon. She was a WNBA player, unbelievable player. She got terminated today from the Chicago Sky. I don't understand that decision. Angel got injured late in the season. Look, I think it's a blessing and a curse because, sometimes you look at, well, Caitlin Clark got her team pro. That's different. You can't judge your team's success by somebody else's success. I don't know what they were expecting. Did y'all expect them to be the #1 seed, to beat the Aces, beat the Liberty? When you gave her the job this year, what was the expectations? And I can assure you, she would have not left the New Orleans Pelicans in her role if she knew she was only going to get 1 year to try to turn this thing around.
Think about that for a second. One player's actions potentially tanking the entire season. It's shocking, especially for a league that prides itself on integrity, grit, and hard work. But this wasn't just another WNBA scandal. The stakes were high because Angel Reese wasn't some bench warmer.
They're just anyway, there's so much I want. Just start with the Sports Illustrated.
She was supposed to be the it girl, the next big star who could elevate the team in the league. Instead, she crashed and burned in the most public and humiliating way possible. And to make things even worse, it didn't even work. If you're gonna risk it all by juicing, at least make it count, right? But Angel Reese didn't break records, didn't dominate games, and didn't even manage to touch Caitlin Clark's level of play. Clark, meanwhile, was out there shattering records, making headlines, and being the superstar everyone thought Reese would become. Reese, on the other hand, was juiced up and still falling short. Chicago Sky didn't hold back in their response either. They made it crystal clear that Reese's steroid use wasn't just a minor rule violation. It had a ripple effect across the team. Relationships were damaged, the locker room was tense, and team performance suffered. What should have been Angel's breakthrough season turned into a nightmare, with her entire career overshadowed by a scandal. The pressure to be great was immense. Reese wasn't just expected to be good, she was supposed to be the best, the one to save Chicago Sky. And when that pressure became too much, it seems Angel decided to talk more trash than she backed up on the court. From social media clapbacks to post-game interviews where she seemed more interested in creating headlines than discussing her play, Reese leaned into the drama. But while the trash talk got her attention, it didn't win games. What's interesting here is the stark contrast between Reese and Caitlin Clark. Clark was letting her game do the talking. She didn't need to engage in Twitter battles or stir up unnecessary drama because she was dominating on the court. She was setting records, leading her team, and becoming the face of the WNBA. And Angel? She was out here trying to keep up with trash talk instead of performance. It wasn't just the fans who noticed this disparity. The media picked up on it, and soon enough, Angel Reese was in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. The criticism wasn't just about her basketball skills. It became about her character, her attitude, and her inability to handle the pressure. As the season went on, the cracks in Reese's persona became more and more apparent. Her performances were slipping, and her attitude didn't match her output. The fans, the media, and even her teammates were growing tired of her antics. Then came the tipping point. During a heated game against the Indiana Fever, Angel got into a confrontation with another player, and suddenly the drama escalated into something much worse. Accusations of racism started flying. This incident became yet another distraction from her actual performance. And by this point, it was clear Angel Reese's focus wasn't on basketball anymore. Instead of being remembered for her talent, she was becoming infamous for her off-court drama and on-court confrontations. And then, the steroid rumors started. Whispers turned into full-blown accusations, and soon enough, Reese was at the center of a scandal no one saw coming. What made it worse was that even after allegedly using steroids, her performance was nowhere near what anyone expected. While Caitlin Clark was averaging a stunning 27.8 points per game in 2024, Angel's numbers had dropped to a disappointing 12.6. The rivalry everyone had hyped up between Clark and Reese, it turned out to be a total non-event because Reese couldn't keep up. By the end of the season, Angel Reese's career was in free fall. She had gone from being the future of the WNBA to being fired for one of the most embarrassing scandals in league history. And to make matters worse, instead of owning up to her mistakes, Reese seemed to double down on the drama, even going as far as to suggest she wasn't the only player involved in steroid use. But it was too little, too late. Her reputation was tarnished, and the damage was done. So what's the takeaway from Angel Reese's downfall? It's a stark reminder of how quickly things can change in professional sports. The pressure to succeed can be overwhelming, and when that pressure becomes too much, some athletes turn to shortcuts. But as we've seen with Angel Reese, those shortcuts rarely pay off. Instead of being remembered for her talent, Reese will be remembered for her scandal. At the end of the day, Angel's story could have been one of triumph, hard work, and perseverance. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of how talent alone isn't enough to succeed at the highest level. You need the right mindset, the discipline, and the ability to handle pressure, qualities Caitlin Clark exemplified, and Angel Reese, unfortunately, did not.